Alright everyone, back on the GS750 build. So doing this Ducati single-sided swing arm, I basically made these pieces here because I had to make the frame wider to fit the swing arm. Did the GSXR forks in the front. Yeah, did a whole Cognito Moto conversion stem in the front here. Nobody noticed, but I actually had them on backwards. This part for the brakes was facing forwards, so now I swapped those, have them facing backwards. So that's where we're up to on this GS750 build here. To be honest, the next part I'm kind of nervous on because what I have to do here is I have to basically like line up the swing arm and make sure it's all straight and then weld this together on here. And yeah, I'm kind of nervous about that. So I've been procrastinating a little bit, trying to make sure that that's all good because I want to make sure it's straight before I line it up. So I've got a bit of a strategy on how I'm going to make sure that that's straight. But I wanted to show you before I do that. Finally got these wheels in for the bike. So these are some pretty sick, pretty crazy wheels. We found some wire spoked wheels for the Ducati. And the crazy thing is here, let me pull this one out really quick and show you the back one. Crazy thing is we were able to find a wire spoked wheel to fit on a single-sided swing arm. So this is a pretty crazy wheel. This was very tough to find, but yeah, we got some spoked wheels. These are actually tubeless as well because most spoked wheels you got to run an inner tube. So these are spoked wheels for tubeless to fit the single-sided swing arm. So I think they're gonna look pretty wild. Went with gold with the black spokes. They look absolutely nuts. So I'm just gonna mock those up on the bike so you can see what they look like, and then I'll probably take them right off and jump into trying to get this swing arm lined up. So these wheels look absolutely crazy. I love the wheels. I think they look so sick. We really wanted to go with the spoked wheel, and to find one for the single-sided swing arm was a challenge, but I think it's been so worth it. So you can see the spokes are all the way off on the one side. On this side, it's pretty much, yeah, all the clearance for the swing arm, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that's a pretty sick back wheel. And then on the front, this is a Ducati wheel, GSXR forks. The good thing is that the axle diameter is the same. They're 25 mil. The bad thing is that the spacing is different. So I think the GSXR forks are wider or something's different. But yeah, you can see there's a bit of a gap right here. So I've got to make some new spacers, basically like a new spacer like this and then a small one on the other side. I've got to make some new spacers so that this wheel will be centered. And then I'll probably also have to do some spacers for the brake rotors and something for the brake calipers. So I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna get those parts in and then figure that part out. But yeah, basically that's the wheels test fitted on the bike. So right now my focus is on finishing this swing arm and just getting it mounted properly. So I mean, the bike's got to drive straight, but the biggest thing is that the sprockets have to be straight. This all has to line up because if it doesn't, then the chain's just gonna be messing up the whole time. So yeah, I gotta figure out this whole thing to get that swing arm all lined up and straight and level and everything like that before I can weld these in. So that's my next task. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the motor, I'm gonna put the motor back in, I'm gonna try and align the sprockets as best as I can, make sure the sprockets are good, make sure that the swing arm is level according to the rest of the bike, and then once that's good, then I'll kind of like tack these things in here and have them where they need to go. So yeah, gonna go get the motor, we'll put that in. So I got the motor in here and I noticed something that I never realized before, which is that the clearance from this swing arm, it actually hits the back of the engine right there. But no big deal. I don't think this is anything important. So I'm just gonna take a die grinder, grind this down a little bit, and that should fit. The clearance there is really tight as well, but thankfully that fits. So we're good. Okay, so we got lots of room for the swing arm now. I took away a little bit of material on there. Now I'm into the point of basically welding these pieces into the frame, making that all good, and then this swing arm is basically where it needs to be. So I've been looking into this a whole bunch and thinking about it a whole bunch. Number one, I need to make sure that these sprockets line up. I'm going to be doing that offset sprocket up at the front, but they need to be totally collinear as well. So my strategy here is I'm going to take this off, and I'm just going to use this axle or whatever you call this, and make sure it's totally 90 degrees to this sprocket on both planes, on this plane and on this plane. So I've got like a digital gauge there, and I've also got another digital gauge, and I'm just going to make sure it's like 90 degrees this way and 90 degrees this way, because I'm assuming if this is lined up properly, that means that this rear axle or this rear sprocket is lined up as well. So yeah, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to make sure that that's all good, and then I'm going to weld these in here. I can't believe this. We got it. 90 degrees. This is totally level, and then it's 90 degrees to that. So this is like a huge relief. I'm gonna weld this up before it moves. Okay, so we got the swing arm mounted here. I welded it up just temporarily. I might weld it up a little bit stronger, but I don't think I'll do a final weld until the very end. I want to make sure I can get the chain on there, wheels on there, and it's all going to track straight. But I also measured the difference of the sprockets, because this one sticks out quite a bit farther than that one, and I need to get an offset sprocket for the front that's going to be wider. This is very common for people running a wider tire in the rear, so yeah, there is a lot of different sprockets that you can get. So I measured it out, tried using some key stock. It wasn't totally straight, so I grabbed a string, tied it to the back here of the sprocket, and then if I hold it where it's like basically just touching the front of the sprocket there, then I know I have a straight line from the sprocket back here, which is about 7/8 of an inch or 22 millimeters. So yeah, next step here is to order a sprocket that will fit that, be about 7/8 offset from that one. This is a 525 pitch, whereas original on the GS is a 630, I believe. So I'll probably drop one tooth down to a 14 tooth, go 525, and then offset about 7/8 of an inch there at the front. So yeah, that's what I got to order, and then jump into the next parts of the bike, which will probably be mounting the rear shock, getting some sort of rear shock mount here so that the swing arm is fully functional. Okay, so I'm gonna call this a huge milestone. We got the shock and the swing arm all mounted. I think this is the biggest part of the whole build, and I'm so happy to have some good headway on this. So yeah, got this all mounted in there properly for now. I still gotta probably weld up this a little bit, but wanna test this thing under the weight of the bike. I made this notch here just because I wanna make sure that this shock has enough room. I don't know how much it'll move. I'm assuming it'll be pretty good. I don't think it'll move that much because it pretty much just pivots on that a little bit. But yeah, gave it lots of room, made some nice little mounts there for it, and we have the whole thing set up there. So now this thing can really go on its own weight. As soon as I get some tires, which are on their way, I'll get them mounted on the wheels, and then I'll be able to put this thing down on its own weight. So yeah, huge milestone, huge accomplishment for that. Pretty much ready to try and get this bike wired up, get it rolling, get it on its own weight, and hopefully soon be able to like at least take it for like a little test drive. Still tons of work left to do on it, but yeah, we're getting there.